You know, I had to decide if I was willing not to work to get paid. And we fought, and ultimately, the producer I was going to work with next,
Sharon Stone made a decision that would destroy her career. She refused to work unless Hollywood paid her what she was worth. The industry's response was swift and brutal.
In this movie, that I was really and used it to fight a disease where people were getting punished for their because I was getting punished for mine. So it wasn't just the fact that I did a scene where I crossed my legs, which we were not previously exposed to do, but that I showed my bare armpits.
In 1992, Basic Instinct made Sharon Stone the most talked about actress in the world. By 2001, she was fighting for scraps, blacklisted by the same industry that had made billions from her image. The woman who crossed her legs and changed cinema forever was about to learn that in Hollywood, defiance comes with a price.
When they wouldn't believe me at the hospital, when I kept losing in custody court and I had to remortgage my house and I didn't have any money.
This is the story of how Hollywood destroys stars who refuse to play by their rules. So, let's get into it. In 1992, Sharon Stone signed a contract that would make her famous and poor at the same time. Basic Instinct was already generating buzz as the most provocative thriller Hollywood had attempted. Director Paul Verhoeven needed an actress willing to take risks that established stars wouldn't consider. Stone had appeared in 17 films by 1992, but remained largely unknown outside of her supporting role in Total Recall. When Verhoeven offered her the lead in Basic Instinct, she was a working actress desperate for a breakthrough. The salary was $500,000, significant money for someone who had never carried a major film. Michael Douglas, her co-star, was already a Hollywood heavyweight. Wall Street had earned him an Academy Award. Fatal Attraction had proven his box office appeal. His Basic Instinct salary reflected his status. $14 million, 28 times what Stone would earn for the same amount of screen time.
We fought, my manager, Chuck, at the time, we fought to get paid.
Sure.
Which was a big battle.
Stone's manager, Chuck Binder, understood what the studio was doing. They were using Douglas's star power to justify paying Stone almost nothing, even though her character drove the entire plot. Catherine Trammell wasn't a supporting role. She was the engine of the film. Without Stone's fearless performance, Basic Instinct would have been just another police procedural. The film's success was immediate and overwhelming. Basic Instinct earned $352 million worldwide, becoming one of 1992's biggest hits. Critics debated its politics, religious groups condemned its content, and audiences couldn't stop talking about Sharon Stone. The infamous interrogation scene became a cultural moment that transcended cinema. But Stone discovered that fame and financial reward were two different things. While promoting the film, she realized she couldn't afford a dress for the Academy Awards ceremony where Basic Instinct was nominated. The woman whose image was plastered on billboards worldwide was borrowing money to attend Hollywood's biggest night.
That I was really and used it to fight a disease where people were getting punished for their because I was getting punished for mine.
Stone had become a symbol, but the label came with unexpected consequences. Producers saw her as a commodity rather than an actress. Scripts offered to her focused on rather than acting range. The industry had created a box for Sharon Stone, and they expected her to stay inside it. The pay disparity became even more insulting when Stone learned the film's profits. Basic Instinct generated hundreds of millions in revenue, spawning merchandise, home video sales, and international distribution deals. Douglas received a percentage of profits on top of his $14 million salary. Stone got nothing beyond her initial $500,000. Stone's solution was clever, but revealed how little power she had. She negotiated to keep her costumes from the film, understanding that the wardrobe would become valuable as the movie achieved iconic status. People thought she was crazy for caring about clothes, but Stone knew she needed something tangible from her career-defining performance. The costume clause proved prophetic. Ellen Mirojnick's designs for Basic Instinct became fashion history. The white dress Stone wore became as famous as the movie itself. Years later, those clothes would be worth more than her original salary. But keeping costumes couldn't solve the fundamental problem Stone was discovering. Hollywood had a rigid hierarchy, and challenging that system came with consequences. Stone was learning that talent meant nothing without leverage, and leverage required either established star power or industry connections she didn't possess. The success of Basic Instinct should have made Stone wealthy and powerful. Instead, it revealed how the system worked. Studios profited from her image and performance while keeping her financially dependent. The woman who had created one of cinema's most memorable characters was still begging for fair treatment. Stone was about to discover that refusing to accept Hollywood's terms would cost her everything she had worked to achieve. The industry that had made her famous was preparing to make her disappear. The success of Basic Instinct should have opened every door in Hollywood for Sharon Stone. Instead, she found herself fighting for roles that paid less than what male actors earned for supporting parts. The film's notoriety had made her famous, but fame without financial power meant nothing in Hollywood's hierarchy. Stone's next film, Sliver, paid her $2.5 million, 5 times her Basic Instinct salary, but still a fraction of what male stars commanded for similar roles. The pattern was clear. Studios would exploit her name recognition while keeping her financially subordinate. She was profitable enough to sell tickets, but not valuable enough to pay fairly.
And he said, I'm not going to pay you for that movie. And I said, then find me another movie you will pay me for. And we started laughing, and he's like, you know, Stone, you drive a hard bargain, and he paid me.
Producer Mike Medavoy became Stone's first test case in demanding equal treatment. When he refused to pay her asking price for one project, Stone countered by demanding he find her a role that met her salary requirements. The negotiation was hostile, with Medavoy initially dismissing her demands, but Stone refused to back down. The confrontation revealed Stone's strategy. She was willing to walk away from work rather than accept insulting offers. This approach was dangerous for any actor, but especially risky for a woman in the 1990s Hollywood. The industry expected actresses to be grateful for any opportunity, regardless of compensation. Stone's demands weren't unreasonable. She wanted to be paid competitively for her market value, not discounted because of her gender. Male actors with similar box office success commanded $10 to $20 million per film. Stone was asking for half that amount and still meeting resistance. The fight for fair pay became consuming. Stone would sit in her kitchen with manager Chuck Binder, crying over the constant rejections and lowball offers. She had proven her commercial appeal, earned critical recognition, and generated hundreds of millions in revenue for studios. But Hollywood treated her success as luck rather than skill.
Yeah, sometimes I'll read a script and there's just no women in it. And I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty man-heavy movie, and I see a part or two in there that I think that I could play. Will you call the producers and see if someone will see me for this part or that part?
Stone developed another strategy, targeting roles written for men. If Hollywood wouldn't create quality female characters, she would convince filmmakers to gender flip existing roles. This approach required constant advocacy and often meant competing against male actors who didn't face questions about their suitability. The resistance to her demands extended beyond individual negotiations. Word spread through Hollywood that Stone was difficult to work with, industry code for an actress who wouldn't accept whatever terms were offered. This reputation made studios nervous about hiring her, creating a cycle where demanding fair treatment led to fewer opportunities. Stone discovered that her sexuality was being used against her in business negotiations. Executives suggested that her Basic Instinct success was due to nudity rather than acting ability, implying that she should be grateful for any attention. The performance that had made her famous was being weaponized to justify continued exploitation. The casino role in Martin Scorsese's Casino provided Stone with her greatest artistic triumph. Her portrayal of Ginger McKenna earned an Academy Award nomination and proved her dramatic range beyond any doubt. The performance was complex, demanding, and showcased acting skills that transcended her symbol status. But even Oscar recognition didn't translate to increased leverage. Hollywood acknowledged Stone's talent while continuing to undervalue her commercially. The nomination validated her artistic credibility, but failed to change industry attitudes about her worth.
Power in that way isn't something that I feel is appropriate or important to me.
Stone rejected the traditional path to female power in Hollywood. She wouldn't use as currency or play political games to advance her career. This ethical stance was admirable, but left her without the usual tools actresses use to navigate industry politics. By the mid-1990s, Stone had established herself as a serious actress capable of carrying major films. But her insistence on fair treatment had marked her as a troublemaker. Hollywood was preparing to teach her that talent without compliance meant nothing in their system. In 1995, Sharon Stone made a decision that would permanently alter her relationship with Hollywood. She used her own money and influence to get The Quick and the Dead made, assembling a cast that included unknown actors named Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio. The film would launch multiple careers while destroying her own. Stone had fallen in love with the Western script and saw an opportunity to produce as well as star. When studios showed little interest in a female-driven Western, Stone decided to finance the project herself. She convinced Sony Pictures to distribute the film, but only after she guaranteed much of the budget personally. The casting process revealed Stone's eye for talent. She insisted on Russell Crowe for a major role when he was still a relative unknown, having appeared primarily in Australian films. Studio executives questioned her choice, asking why she wanted this guy who has only played a skinhead before. Stone saw something they missed and fought for his casting. Stone's most controversial casting choice was Leonardo DiCaprio, then just a teenager with limited film experience. Studio executives told her to pay his salary from her own pocket if she wanted him in the movie. Stone agreed, personally guaranteeing DiCaprio's compensation because she believed in his potential. She also championed Sam Raimi as director when he was known primarily for low-budget horror films like Evil Dead. Sony executives questioned whether Raimi could handle a major studio production. Stone used her influence to secure his hiring, seeing his unique vision as perfect for the material. The Quick and the Dead was ambitious and expensive. Stone was essentially gambling her entire Basic Instinct earnings on a single film. If it failed, she would be financially ruined. If it succeeded, she would have proven her producing abilities and established herself as a Hollywood power player. The film's production was troubled from the start. Sony executives undermined Stone's authority as producer, questioning her decisions and treating her like a hired actress rather than the project's driving force. The studio system wasn't designed to accommodate a woman in a producer role, especially one who demanded creative control. Stone's relationship with the cast and crew became complicated by her dual role as a star and producer. Some saw her as authoritative and demanding, while others appreciated her commitment to the project's quality. The pressure of financing and starring in the film was enormous. The Quick and the Dead performed modestly at the box office, earning $18.6 million domestically against a $35 million budget. While not a disaster, the film didn't generate the profits Sony expected. The studio used the disappointing returns to justify their initial skepticism about Stone's producing abilities. The real betrayal came in the aftermath. Sam Raimi, whose career Stone had essentially launched with The Quick and the Dead, never spoke to her again after the film's completion. His next project, A Simple Plan, was a critical success that established him as a serious director. He showed no gratitude for Stone's support during his transition from horror to mainstream filmmaking. Russell Crowe and Leonardo DiCaprio's careers exploded after The Quick and the Dead, exactly as Stone had predicted. Crowe became a leading man in films like Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind. DiCaprio evolved into one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Neither actor publicly acknowledged Stone's role in their early career development.
You know, I go to some pretty cool places, just first of all. But Putin had invited us all to come to Russia, which I have to say is a very beautiful place to go.
It is.
And so we went to raise money for a hospital for the Children's Oncology Ward.
Stone's charitable work during this period included traveling to Russia for fundraising events. Her humanitarian efforts demonstrated her commitment to causes beyond entertainment, but Hollywood interpreted her international activities as evidence that she was becoming disconnected from the industry. Sony's executives used The Quick and the Dead's modest performance to justify blacklisting Stone from future projects. According to Stone, they banned her from the studio for 8 years. The woman who had personally financed a film that launched multiple careers was being punished for her ambition. The message was clear. Women could star in Hollywood films, but they couldn't control them. Stone's attempt to exercise producer-level power had been met with systematic retaliation. The industry was teaching her that stepping outside prescribed roles came with permanent consequences. On a stressful day in 2001, Sharon Stone felt a sudden impact in her head like being shot. The brain hemorrhage that followed would test her survival instincts and reveal Hollywood's true attitude toward damaged goods. At 43, Stone faced a medical crisis that would expose the industry's ruthless treatment of actresses who couldn't guarantee their future productivity. The initial symptoms were terrifying. Stone collapsed in her television room, feeling dizzy and disoriented. The pain was so intense it knocked her to the floor, where she lay throughout the night, convinced she was dying. When she finally reached a hospital, doctors discovered bleeding in her brain that required immediate intervention.
And I had this very strange experience where I kind of took off, and I had this very, very intense experience. And I lost consciousness for a period of time.
Stone's near-death experience during treatment was profound and spiritual. She described leaving her body and having an intense spiritual encounter that changed her relationship with mortality. The experience gave her peace about death, but also strengthened her determination to rebuild her life. The medical prognosis was grim. Doctors gave Stone a 1% chance of survival. The brain hemorrhage required 9 days of treatment, followed by years of recovery. Even if she survived, there were no guarantees about her cognitive function or ability to work as an actress. Stone's recovery was slow and incomplete. The brain injury affected her memory, speech patterns, and emotional regulation. Simple tasks became difficult, and the rapid-fire wit that had defined her public persona was damaged. For an actress whose career depended on mental acuity, these changes were devastating.
My brain got shoved into the front of my face. I mean, my whole DNA shifted. My body type shifted. The food I was allergic to shifted. The food I liked shifted. The people that I was familiar with shifted.
The brain injury fundamentally altered Stone's personality and physical functioning. She became a different person neurologically, with changed preferences, allergies, and social connections. The Sharon Stone who emerged from the hospital was not the same woman who had entered it. Hollywood's response to Stone's medical crisis was swift and brutal. Offers disappeared completely as word spread about her condition. The industry operated on the assumption that damaged actors were uninsurable and unreliable. Stone's stroke made her a liability in a business that demanded certainty. Studios had invested decades in creating Stone's image as a symbol and dramatic actress. Her brain injury threatened that investment by making her future performances unpredictable. Rather than supporting her recovery, the industry simply moved on to younger, healthier actresses. Stone discovered that her health problems affected her custody battle for son Roan. During divorce proceedings from Phil Bronstein, a judge asked her young son if he knew his mother made. The legal system was using her basic instinct nudity against her while she struggled with serious medical issues.
When I kept losing in custody court, and I had to remortgage my house and I didn't have any money. But I really learned.
The custody battle became financially devastating. Legal fees forced Stone to remortgage her house while she was unable to work consistently. The medical bills from her brain hemorrhage, combined with reduced earning capacity and legal costs, created a financial crisis that lasted years. Stone's attempts to return to work were met with skepticism and lowball offers. Producers questioned whether she could memorize lines, maintain energy during long shooting days, or deliver the intense performances that had made her famous. Her stroke had made her unemployable in an industry that had no patience for uncertainty. The woman who had once commanded millions per film was now auditioning for television guest spots and low-budget independent films. Her health crisis had reset her career to pre-Basic Instinct levels, but without the youth and desperation that had driven her initial success. Bernard Arnault's offer of a Dior modeling contract provided Stone with crucial income during this period. The fashion industry proved more willing than Hollywood to work with an actress recovering from brain injury, perhaps because modeling required less sustained mental effort than dramatic acting. Stone was learning that Hollywood loyalty was conditional on productivity. The industry that had profited from her image for a decade abandoned her the moment she became a potential liability. By 2010, Sharon Stone had recovered enough from her brain hemorrhage to work consistently, but Hollywood had moved on without her. The industry that had once fought over her services now treated her as a curiosity from another era. At 52, Stone discovered that her blacklisting had become permanent. The roles offered to Stone were insulting. Guest appearances on television shows small parts in independent films, and direct-to-video projects that paid a fraction of her former salaries. Producers saw her as a faded star willing to work for whatever they offered, not understanding that her reduced circumstances were the result of systematic exclusion.
I think we can choose to get all wound up in these distractions. We can choose to moan, or we can choose joy.
Stone's response to her exile was remarkable for its lack of bitterness. Rather than publicly attacking the industry that had abandoned her, she focused on rebuilding her life through alternative pursuits. Her painting career became a significant source of income, with her artwork selling for substantial amounts at galleries worldwide. The streaming revolution that transformed Hollywood in the 2010s might have provided opportunities for Stone to rebuild her career. Netflix and other platforms were hungry for content and nostalgic for 1990s stars, but Stone's reputation as difficult had survived her decade away from prominence. When streaming platforms did approach Stone, the offers were designed to exploit her notoriety rather than showcase her acting abilities. Projects focused on her basic instinct legacy or positioned her as a camp figure rather than a serious performer. Stone rejected most of these opportunities, refusing to participate in her own diminishment. Stone's humanitarian work during this period revealed her true priorities. She raised millions for AIDS research, using her symbol status to fight a disease affecting marginalized communities. The irony was clear. Stone was using the image Hollywood had created to serve causes more important than entertainment. Stone's consistency became her defining characteristic during the exile years. While other actresses struggled with aging in Hollywood, Stone maintained her dignity and refused to compromise her values for career advancement. Her superpower was simply outlasting the industry's attempts to break her. The Nasha Me Too movement of 2017 provided context for Stone's earlier struggles. Her complaints about pay disparity and industry mistreatment, which had been dismissed as diva behavior, were suddenly understood as early examples of systemic. Stone had been fighting battles that other actresses were just beginning to acknowledge. Younger actresses began seeking Stone's advice about navigating Hollywood's hostile environment. Her experience with blacklisting and industry retaliation made her a valuable mentor for women facing similar challenges. Stone discovered that her survival itself had become a form of activism. Despite everything Hollywood had put her through, Stone remained strategically optimistic about her future. Her refusal to detail her plans suggested hard-won wisdom about the importance of protecting developing projects from industry interference. She had learned that announcing intentions in Hollywood invited sabotage. Stone's late career work in projects like Ratched and The Flight Attendant proved she retained her acting abilities. When given quality material and respectful treatment, she delivered performances that reminded audiences why she had become a star. But these opportunities remained rare. The woman who had crossed her legs and changed cinema forever had survived Hollywood's most brutal punishment, being forgotten while still alive. Stone's crime hadn't been scandal or failure, but demanding to be treated as an equal in an industry built on inequality. Her blacklisting served as a warning to other actresses about the cost of defiance. But Stone's survival also proved that Hollywood's power had limits. They could take her career, her money, and her opportunities, but they couldn't destroy her talent or her integrity. In the end, that might be victory enough. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.